Hey guys, Ryobi King back to make another video today. Today we're going to be doing a review on some grinders. Not just any grinders though, of course they're Ryobi grinders. We got the wireless one here. This is actually not the brushless one, this is brushed. And he's got the corded one. As we all know, I hate corded tools because anytime you need to break out a tool, you just slap a battery in these. But today we're going to test the performance on these and see just how much better and how much more power you get out of a corded tool as opposed to a cordless tool. We're going to be doing a little bit of a competition on cutting this rebar to see who can actually cut it faster than the other. So let's get it started.
Now clearly guys, these tests aren't scientific. There's a lot of factors here. First of all, I'm not as fluent with this tool as he is, but this is morely just to kind of show you the power performance. And here's a good example of that. I mean, even though I switched to the more powerful version of the tool here, it was still about the same. You know, he still was just barely behind me. So a lot of it's just my inexperience with using grinders as opposed to him that uses them every day. So now would be a good time to kind of explain to you what I'm doing. We're making caltrops. They're devices that you could throw and they always roll and they always point straight up. The point of this is for popping tires. He lives out on a piece of property where he gets a lot of trespassers and a lot of people wanting to come out down his road to use it for hunting and stuff like that on his land. He's tried putting up signs, he's tried putting up gates, they just cut the locks. So now we're going to go ahead and try a new theory, and that's we're going to pop their damn tires. But they're really easy to make. The concept of popping a tire is not just sticking something in it. If you just stick something into a tire, it's just going to stay in the tire and plug the hole. What we're doing right now is cutting a slit in the bar that goes into the tire. That way it releases the air out from the slit. That's at least theoretically how it's going to work. Now the reason I linked the Ryobi tools to this is because he has a Ryobi grinder and I have a Ryobi grinder. I was like, you know what? If you want to help me out, we can also do a really good video on this at the same time. Now, I do not suggest anybody make a caltrop to go out and pop their neighbor's tires. This is a situation where people are coming and abusing the land that he lives on. So it's a last resort effort, and I do not suggest it to anybody. We're also going to be getting his opinion on these tools, which is going to be a lot more important than mine. Since he does work at a scrap metal shop, they use grinders and a lot of metal tools a lot. So this is, you know, it'd be really good to get an opinion from somebody that uses this kind of tool as opposed to a guy like me who maybe uses it once every few weeks. So actually the building of a caltrop is really easy. All you have to do is use 3/8 inch rebar, and you're going to cut them in 6-inch pieces. Then you're going to mark them right in the middle, and then you're going to bend them at 90-degree angles. And then what you'll do is you'll weld them in opposite directions, and we'll show you that later on in the video whenever he breaks out his Ryobi welder. Well, at least that's a joke. It's a Ryobi welder because it's green. Yes, it's not Ryobi green. I know there's a lot of you out there. It's a joke, guys. Come on. Yeah, he's got a lot of these blacksmith tools out here, which is also really cool. Like this vise you see here bending. This thing's over 150 years old, and I mean that's crazy. Some of the tools he's got. He's got huge anvils and everything out here. Clearly not, you know, what I do in my shop, but he does a lot of metal work as opposed to my woodwork.
So initial impressions of the Ryobi corded grinder. I really like it. I'd say someone from a welding background, a fabrication background, I can definitely appreciate the different features on it.
Probably need to talk louder than that.
Let's start over there. My initial impressions of the Ryobi grinder, I'm actually rather impressed with it for what you pay. Coming from a fabrication background and a welding background, I can appreciate the fact that the grip turns. Whenever you're happen to make a cut, it's really nice to have a nice grip on it. But with normal grinders, it doesn't turn. So all you have to just kind of deal with it being like that. Pain in the ass, in my opinion. The other thing I really like about it is this grip here. How it's angled a lot better. It's a lot better on your wrist. Other features of it, well, I definitely love the tool in there. That makes it easier because you always lose those things every time. Besides that, I've been using it. I've probably got 6 hours of work done on this for now. It's got a bunch of rust on it because I de-rusted a whole bunch of stuff. got rust all in there, in the gears and stuff. It's still going fine, no problems there. Did a whole bunch of cutting, as you saw earlier. Worked just good, you know. Initial impressions of the cordless Ryobi grinder. Now, I'm not a huge fan of cordless grinders due to the lack of power, just because, you know, you have a battery as compared to a cord, but they have their place. You know, if you're working out in the field like on pipelines or scaffolding, you definitely want something that is cordless, because you don't want to lug around a generator and cords and all that stuff. Now, compared to the corded one though, it still has the good angled grip feature on that, and it still has a tool in the grip, so I like that. The battery is, I personally don't use Ryobi tools with a battery, so I'm not for sure how long the battery lasts.
Well, like today, that little short clip that you've seen us do, we was able to actually get through one of the 3 amp hour batteries. Here, let's get this out here. One of these 3 amp hours, this one's full, I brought 2. We were able to use one to do all the cutting that you've seen today. How many cuts do you think we made in the rebar today? Probably over 100 cuts between both of us.
I'd say between the both of us, I'd say probably at least 50.
So we got, you know, probably 25 cuts a piece. So you're getting roughly 25 cuts off of a battery. That's not great, clearly, but you know, if I had to work on something that was all the way back there, something stationary, you know, instead of dragging a huge extension cord all the way out, just throw this on there, go out and cut it. The reason I'm having Philip do a lot of the talking today is he does use grinders a lot more than I do. I use them on occasion at work. You know, I'll cut some conduit if I have to. Particularly, I'd use a conduit cutter, but sometimes it does come in handy to just go ahead and use the grinder to get it done. Or if I don't have the conduit cutter with me, this, you know, saves me some time. So I get what he's saying. It is definitely a lot less powerful, though.
Definitely. One more last thing here. Now, granted, I understand safety features. The rules are written in blood, but I'm not a huge fan of this grip safety here. It's just a pain when you're trying to get those angled cuts. But besides that, you know what?
And the handle doesn't turn.
Yeah, and the handle doesn't turn on this one because obviously it's got a battery. But I mean, if I had to choose a cordless grinder within the same price point as the corded Ryobi grinder, I definitely would probably go with this one.
Because I think this one runs about the same price. I think it's $35-40. Now the brushless one is $100. I'm not going to review that one. I'm hearing a lot of bad reviews on that one right now. I'm waiting for them to come out with another model, and then I'll go ahead and try that one out. But you can look up plenty of reviews on that specific tool online. But from what we got here, we really do like this pair. Even just from this short bit, I told them, I was like, wow, this is actually really impressive. I said, feel the side of this. It didn't even get remotely warm. So, I mean, really shocked me as far as, I mean, that was 3/8 rebar that we just went through.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it did a pretty good job. Both of them did really good. And I always used to joke with him. I was like, oh, you know, you're gonna get a grinder, right? You gotta get a new grinder because your DeWalt finally went bad. He's like, yes, you gotta get that Ryobi. I didn't think he'd do it. I figured he'd go out and get a Makita or something else. But he did. He got a Ryobi, and he's actually really happy with it. So that means a lot to me, knowing that, you know, someone that uses that tool every single day, and that's something that they trust.
And here's where Ryobi King takes a step back. I don't know how to weld, I don't claim to know how to weld, nor do I want to know how to weld. I have Philip that can weld for me. But you know, he does have a stick welder here in the video. That's all he has here at the property, but he is certified on MIG and TIG as well. So it's just not my cup of tea. And here's a little view of the final product. No matter which way you roll it, it always pops back up. That's exactly what you want it to do. Thanks for coming and watching this video today. I'd like to give a shout out to one of my commenters, Chris Rankin. Thanks for coming and watching my videos, and stay tuned for more.